The story revolves around Handa, an average high schooler with an extraordinary twist. Despite being adored by his peers for his remarkable personality, skills, and effortless coolness, Handa is convinced that this overwhelming admiration is actually a form of bullying. He believes he's avoiding people, but his actions only seem to make him more popular. That's the perplexing world of Handa for you. Will Handa ever realize that what he interprets as bullying is actually his classmates' love and affection? Stick around to find out. Our tale kicks off with Handa's dedicated fan club, who go to great lengths to ensure his well-being. One day, they stumble upon news of an upcoming anime featuring Handa-kun, sparking a lively debate about how different studios might portray their idol. They wonder if Handa-kun will be a strong, buff hero, part of a romantic comedy, or perhaps a character in a science fiction setting. In their excitement, they discover that the first episode of Handa-kun's anime has already been released. Frustrated for not watching it sooner, they contacted the studio to request a replay, only to be denied. Determined, they managed to get their hands on episode 1. As they tune in, we meet Handa, a second-year high school student renowned for his exceptional calligraphy skills, good looks, and cool demeanor. He is the most popular student, revered by all. However, due to countless misunderstandings, Handa misinterprets the admiration he receives from his numerous fans as bullying. This misconception leads him to isolate himself from his schoolmates. People find it fascinating that Handa is so secretive, even dubbing his personal space the Handa Wall. One day, Handa discovers a letter in his shoe locker. Due to a bad experience in middle school, he assumes the letter contains threats and immediately throws it away. Little did he know, the letter was from a girl named Maiko, who saw him discard it. Maiko's best friend Juri confronts Handa, asking him to apologize to Maiko for throwing away her heartfelt letter. Juri explains that Maiko spent all night writing it. Feeling guilty, Handa apologizes to Maiko and awkwardly asks her to share the letter's content in person. Maiko nervously requests to meet behind the school gym after class. Overthinking the situation, Handa imagines the worst and convinces Maiko and her friends to bully him. His anxiety only intensifies as Juri keeps staring at him, making him feel even more paranoid. During math class, Handa decides to write a letter to Maiko, despite not knowing her name. Caught by the teacher for writing calligraphy instead of paying attention, he's asked to solve math problems at the front of the class. As he walks up, he misinterprets his classmates' smiles and smirks, not realizing they're excited to see him perform. Confidently, he uses his calligraphy pen to solve the problems, impressing everyone. Juri, who secretly has a crush on Handa, misinterprets his attention and the beautifully written letter he gives her, thinking it's a love confession. Feeling guilty about betraying Maiko, she decides not to tell her about the letter. During lunch, Maiko joins Juri, who becomes annoyed when Maiko quickly eats one of her rice rolls. Juri recalls Maiko's blunt statement about befriending her to prevent other cute girls from outshining her. This remark angers Juri, especially because she feels Maiko is really interested in Handa. As the school day ends, Handa becomes increasingly anxious and worried about the lack of response from Maiko despite sending numerous letters. Determined to resolve the situation, he heads to the gym to meet her and clear up any misunderstandings. Meanwhile, curious about the outcome, his classmates gather to watch the anticipated encounter. Long story short, Handa finally went to the back of the school gym where Maiko and Juri had been waiting for him, along with a crowd of curious students. Seeing so many people, Handa immediately felt nervous, especially when Maiko handed him a pink envelope. Juri, now considering Maiko her rival for Handa's love, kept trying to prevent Maiko from expressing her feelings. Juri repeatedly threw the letter away as Maiko tried to give it to Handa, leading to a wrestling match. Maiko, being smaller, struggled against Juri's strong grip. Meanwhile, some students called Kawa-chan to come see the commotion behind the gym. The word spread, and everyone assumed the girls were fighting over Handa, but Kawa-chan was uninterested in such matters. Back at the fight, Juri told Maiko harsh truths, spitting out hurtful comments without realizing it. During their squabble, Handa seized the opportunity to rush away. Before leaving, he told Maiko and Juri not to fight over trivial matters and asked them to take care of each other. Despite this, Maiko still insisted on handing over her letter. Handa bluntly told her that her writing was awful and left, leaving Maiko sad and disappointed. To cheer up her friend, Juri suggested that Maiko join a calligraphy course to write a beautiful love letter to Handa. The next day, during a class vote for class president, Junichi Aizawa, a familiar candidate, was running again. Surprisingly, Handa was also chosen as a candidate, despite not signing up. With the vote tied due to an absent student, Aizawa proposed settling it with rock, paper, scissors. Handa planned to let Aizawa win, but ended up winning himself. Handa didn't want to be president, so he tried to resign. But Aizawa refused, thinking Handa was pitying him. In the end, Handa stayed president while Aizawa became vice president, promising to support Handa fully. Meanwhile, a good-looking guy named Nikaido Ryo, who works as a model, noticed his popularity dropping when Handa joined the school. Determined to uncover what made Handa so popular, Nikaido secretly followed him around. He searched everywhere and even got his clothes dirty in the process. Eventually, Nikaido spotted Handa entering an area crowded with talent agents from different entertainment companies. Worried that Handa might join the agency that managed him, Nikaido's curiosity and concern grew stronger. Nikaido tried hard to stop the talent agents from seeing Handa, but they had already spotted him. They wanted Handa to try on some fancy clothes, but Handa said no thanks politely. Nikaido finally realized Handa was really nice, and that's why everyone at school liked him so much. Meanwhile, Handa's life kept going with all its surprises. Even though people thought he was perfect and classy, Handa was just a regular guy who got mad when someone cut in line at the bus stop. A few days later, as class president, Handa had to deliver school stuff to a guy named Tsutsui Akan. Tsutsui skipped school a lot because other kids were mean to him. Handa went to Tsutsui's house with a photo to find him. But when he got there, a tough-looking guy said he was Tsutsui. This guy didn't look anything like the nice, skinny Tsutsui in the photo. It turns out, Tsutsui had changed his whole look because bullies made fun of him. At first, Tsutsui thought Handa came to fight him, so he grabbed a bat. But Handa stayed calm and gave him the school stuff Aizawa asked him to deliver. Tsutsui told Handa how he changed himself to be tough and stop getting bullied. He didn't care about school anymore. Handa listened and understood, and they talked peacefully. But then, some tough guys from another school showed up to fight Tsutsui. When they saw Handa, known for his tough reputation, they ran away scared. Tsutsui was moved by Handa's kindness and the nice note he left for the school staff. The next day, Tsutsui decided to come back to school. Handa's classmates were surprised to see Tsutsui's big change, but they were glad he was back. Even Aizawa was surprised by how much Tsutsui had changed. Tsutsui decided to become Handa's bodyguard to always protect him. The scene then shifts to a cooking class where a young man named Konduo Yukio, along with Handa, Aizawa, Nikaido, and Tsutsui, is present. Konduo is an ordinary, unpopular student who acts normal around Handa despite Handa's popularity. When Aizawa, Nikaido, and Tsutsui argue over what dish to cook, Handa decides to make pudding because he thinks it's easy. However, Konduo realizes that Handa isn't good at cooking when he uses strange ingredients like soy sauce and salt in the pudding. Despite Konduo's warning that the pudding might taste bad, Aizawa and the others appreciate it because Handa made it for them. Handa also avoids his good friend Kawafuji because he thinks everyone hates him. In class, Handa gives his eraser to Miyoko, thinking she might be upset, which leads Miyoko to believe that Handa likes her. After class, the girls ask Handa to leave without cleaning up, showing their affection for him. Handa has always felt disliked since junior high when he met Kawafuji and became friends with him. Due to a misunderstanding, Handa believes people hate him, although they actually admire him for being handsome and popular. When a rumor spreads that Handa sells poetry in the park, Aizawa and the others investigate and find a fan pretending to be Handa. After confronting him, the fan apologizes, and Handa corrects his writing, impressing the fan. One day at school, two girls share a viral photo of Handa with a beautiful woman, which surprises everyone. Meanwhile, Handa finds a mysterious but neatly written message on his desk, which intrigues him. Later, Miyoko, who loves Handa, gets upset seeing him with the beautiful woman, not knowing she's his mother. Misunderstandings ensue until Handa starts socializing more with Konduo's help, leading to positive changes noticed by his mother and classmates. The story picks up with Sawako, the student council president known for her cool style. She likes wearing a boy's uniform to hide her legs, which everyone admires. Sawako feels pressured by Handa and his friends, thinking they're forming a rival group against her. To embarrass Handa, Sawako sends girls to flirt with him, but they end up admiring his kindness instead. Frustrated, Sawako challenges Handa to wear a girl's uniform. They end up in a chaotic chase and accidentally tumble downstairs together. Sawako, remembering her own bullying experiences, lands on top of Handa, who protected her during the fall. Grateful for Handa's protective act, Sawako starts to feel guilty about her actions and begins to respect him. However, Handa gets temporary amnesia from the fall. During this time, he acts strangely, offering kisses and autographs to everyone. His friends try funny ways, like using a hammer, to help him remember. Finally, on the stairs where they fell, Handa suddenly remembers everything, but he still thinks everyone dislikes him, which makes others afraid of him. Despite this, Handa's friends are happy to have their old buddy back and hope things will get back to normal soon. A few days later, on the way to school, Kawafuji thought Handa had been through a rough patch and invited him to hang out after school. Handa agreed, but disguised himself with a wig so Kawafuji wouldn't get in trouble for being seen with him. They were joined by a friendly young man named Hasegawa, who quickly befriended Hanzawa as Handa introduced himself, claiming he was from America. Hasegawa invited them to play games, but Handa struggled with bowling and basketball, often stumbling. When Kawafuji went to buy drinks, Handa and Hasegawa were confronted by bullies from the basketball club who targeted Hasegawa. Handa, unable to bear his friend's bullying, revealed his disguise and silently intimidated the bullies until they backed off. The next day at school, Hasegawa accidentally met Handa, who dropped his papers. Remembering Handa's request to pretend not to know him at school, Hasegawa played along. Meanwhile, Kawafuji chuckled at Handa's lack of confidence, still convinced everyone disliked him. Meanwhile, a young man named Higashino harbored a fear of Handa due to losing a race to him in middle school. Higashino challenged Handa to a race, hoping to overcome his fear. Despite their efforts, Higashino was unable to beat Handa until he witnessed Handa outrunning a dog one day. Feeling tricked, Higashino's dislike for Handa deepened, fueling his determination to defeat him. Handa confided in Kawafuji about being chased by a dog without knowing Higashino was racing alongside him. Days later, Handa grew worried after reading a troubling horoscope prediction, though he usually dismissed such things. Seeking reassurance, Handa asked a classmate named Sugoi, known for accurate fortune-telling, to read his future. Nervously, Sugoi correctly pinpointed Handa's concerns and vowed to improve her skills to read him better. The story then shifts to the aftermath of the school's test results distribution. Tsutsui, Nikaido, and Handa were dissatisfied with their scores and decided to study together under Aizawa, the top-ranked student. Aizawa believed Handa intentionally didn't rank first to motivate them. Tsutsui and Nikaido took their supplementary tests seriously, improving their grades with help from Awa and Konduo. Meanwhile, Handa, forgetting to write his name on the exam, didn't receive a score. The scene transitions to Kasumi, a shy librarian who spends her time in the school library despite few student visitors these days. Kasumi, the school librarian, isn't too bothered by the lack of visitors except when Handa stops by. She secretly likes him and knows the books he borrows well. Kasumi, who dreams of being a novelist, sneaks her romantic story onto the shelf hoping Handa will read it. But when Handa gets awkward about it, he rushes away. Later, Nikaido and the others realize Kasumi has a crush on Handa after finding the library empty. They decide to make the library cozier, attracting more students, including Handa. As the library gets busier, Kasumi feels overwhelmed but also sad because Handa visits less often. One quiet afternoon, Handa returns a book and tells Kasumi that the book's content surprised him. Kasumi advises him not to overthink romance and focus on his studies. She asks him not to come to the library anymore to help her move on from her feelings. Misunderstanding her intentions, Handa feels rejected. A few days later, Handa and his classmates head to Kyoto for a study trip. Waiting at the station, Konduo accidentally bumps into Tsukasa, who admires Ichimiya, his popular classmate. They all end up on the same train, but a candy incident sparks a fight between Handa's group and Tsukasa's friends. Ichimiya intervenes, calming the situation. In the heart of Kyoto, Handa and his friends decided to visit a famous temple known for its divination papers, hoping for good luck. Unfortunately, Handa and his friends received bad predictions, while Ichimiya, who always seemed to have good fortune, got favorable ones. Despite the ominous predictions, Handa prayed earnestly. Back at the hotel, Jamoto and his friends, always looking to outshine Ichimiya, decided to prank Handa. Meanwhile, Aizawa and the others prevented Handa from using the public bath, worried that girls might spy on him, which made Handa feel misunderstood and anxious, fearing they saw him as a pervert. That night, chaos erupted when a doll, thrown by mistake, startled everyone. Handa, who was terrified of ghosts, slept through the commotion, oblivious to the scare. The next day, Tsutsui and the others clashed with Yamato's group, while Handa and Ichimiya enjoyed their own activities, seemingly detached from the ongoing conflicts. Aizawa and Konduo tried to avoid Ichimiya's friend, Nagamasa, known for his sharp intellect. Meanwhile, Nikaido confronted Kojika, another of Ichimiya's friends. Konduo, in his interactions with Tsukasa, discovered they had similar personalities. Tsukasa idolized Ichimiya, while Konduo viewed Handa as a genuine friend. Handa, who had a budding interest in photography, fell victim to a prank by Ichimiya involving candy. Despite the lighthearted trick, tensions between Handa and Ichimiya grew when the girls couldn't decide who they liked more, adding fuel to their competitive friendship. Separated from his friends, Handa encountered Ichimiya, and they discussed the burdens of popularity. Handa admitted he didn't feel burdened, but still refused. Ichimiya's offer of friendship to avoid jealousy among their peers. Their conversation was interrupted when Aizawa and the others found them on a bridge. In the heat of the moment, Handa declined Ichimiya's friendship, explaining that he didn't want their relationship to be influenced by Ichimiya's fame. In a moment of chaos during a minor scuffle, Handa accidentally fell into the river below. Amid the confusion and the rush to help, Handa was momentarily forgotten, emphasizing the fleeting and sometimes fickle nature of teenage friendships. The story continues with Okayama Sensei, arguing with the headmaster over frog dissection in biology class. Okayama Sensei uses Handa's popularity to support frog surgery, although Handa finds it scary and opposes it. Aizawa convinces Handa to vote for surgery despite his fears. During biology class, a commotion forces Okayama Sensei to cancel frog dissection. He realizes his mistake, releasing the frogs and opting for a flower arrangement instead. Later, Handa spots Aizawa near his house and runs off, worried about being followed. Aizawa wants to protect Handa secretly. Like Miyoko, who also loves Handa, Aizawa shields him from overzealous fans. Nikaido and Tsutsui meet Kasumi heading to Handa's house to submit her novel. They mistake her for a stalker, but Miyoko intervenes, thinking Kasumi annoys Handa. Elsewhere, Aizawa and Konduo follow Handa to a cafe to meet Kawafuji. Handa, realizing he's being followed, escapes quickly. Higashino tracks Handa's movements with a GPS, and Nikaido and Tsutsui mistake a suspect for a stalker, leading to a dog chase. Handa feels exhausted running from everyone and just wants peace. He tries a shortcut but runs into Aizawa and the others, asking them to stop following him. Handa feels bad for snapping at them, thinking they are the stalkers, not his friends. Handa, feeling overwhelmed by the attention, headed to the cafe to meet Kawafuji. He shared how he'd been followed, unaware Kawafuji had set Nikaido and Tsutsui up with a dog kennel prank to help. The scene then shifts to the school's Bishujo Comics Club, on the verge of disbanding because none of their comics have sold. Student Council Representative Azawa suggests making a comic about Handa, the most popular student. The three club members, knowing little about Handa, decide to gather information and plan to turn him into a female character. They soon realize Handa's kind and caring nature, deciding instead to depict him as a sweet girl in their comic Handa-chan. After making several copies, They accidentally place the comics on a pile of paper for recycling. Handa, tasked with disposing of recyclables, unknowingly throws them away. When the club members discover their mistake, they rush after the garbage truck. Handa, realizing what happened, helps them stop the truck, but is irritated to find out they depicted him as a cute girl. The school prepares for a culture festival. Sawako, the student council president, asks each class to prepare a stunning performance, promising prizes and awards. Handa's class decides to perform Romeo and Juliet, with Aizawa explaining details later. On his way home, Handa sees a student from his school being bullied by students from another school. Handa hides, afraid, while Tsutsui fights off the bullies. The next day, Handa's classmates are busy with preparations, but Handa is asked to sit and watch, feeling bored. He falls asleep and wakes up late at night, finding his classmates gone. Secretly followed by rebellious students, Handa is saved by Tsutsui and others just in time. As the festival approaches, the Bishujo Comics Club works hard to make 5,000 copies of Handa-chan. In Handa's class, students argue over roles in the musical. Hanada offers Handa makeup services, and everyone is excited to try it. On the festival day, the school is bustling. The Bishujo Comics Club sells out of Handa-chan, and Kawafuji and Hasegawa visit Handa's class, greeted by students dressed as maids. They watch the absurd musical, with Nikaido as Romeo and Tsutsui as Juliet. Handa plays the queen, feeling embarrassed. Rebellious students from Kuro High School come looking for Handa, buying the comic and loving it. They enter the school and encounter Ichimiya's friends, leading to a fight. Handa, thinking the show is starting, orders them to stop, only to realize it's not the performance yet. Kuro High students reveal they want to be Handa's friends, making peace with Ichimiya's group. That evening, students gather for the results announcement. Sawako declares the Bishujo Comics Club as the best-selling booth, with Handa-chan selling 5,000 copies. The award for the best class goes to Handa's class. Handa is asked to give a speech, but Kawafuji joins him, claiming he deserves an award too, causing chaos. Kawafuji explains he wanted to show Handa he's not hated. Handa realizes his friends admire him and delivers a heartfelt speech, sharing the award with everyone who made the festival a success. From then on, Handa becomes more open and friendly, recognizing his true friends who always supported him. As Handa lowers his walls, he begins to enjoy deeper connections with those around him. Hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you next time.